My name is Chris Claremont. You're watching Omni X-Men.
And what more do you really need to say? Welcome back to the best Christopher Claremont show on YouTube. Yeah, that's the one. This is Omni X-Men. This is the show where we're going through Claremont's epic run of mutant books, and we've covered so much great Uncanny X-Men glory, and now we're into the New Mutants themselves. This has been a roller coaster ride with lots of different comics, and tonight is a Spider-Man book. Just get ready, folks. Get ready, and let's bring in the co-host with the most. We got Justin. No Good Comics.
I'm waiting for one day when Chris Claremont eventually watches our show and says, "Guys, I think I had another line after that."
Right? There was promoting something.
Yeah, yeah. You were just saying how much.
I see you've got a hat on tonight. I'm gonna join you here. Let's do a little something here. This is a hat themed show.
That's
tonight.
right. It's important.
There's a lot of hats. A lot of options.
I could go Luffy if I wanted to go Luffy. I could.
I can go Dr. Jones. I got other hats.
Touche. It's a hat kind of night, you know.
It is. For those of you that have read this book, and shout out to Magic Lasso, who was talking to me about hats a lot today. This is a hat themed show tonight, and our guest is aware because Stevie, you are locked and loaded.
I just always wear a hat. I didn't know. I wish I brought a different hat now. I didn't know. I didn't know.
You're spot on, dude. You're spot on.
You never know. You never know what we're going to throw at the guests here. So, Stevie, it's great to have you here, man. I appreciate having you on the channel for the first time, being able to talk to you on a stream for the first time. We have you in each other's chats, talking nerddom, talking mutant dumb a lot of times. So we'll get to peel that onion a little bit tonight for you.
Yes, no, I'm happy to be here. So thanks again, guys.
And this is back to back, or two out of the last 3 nights of streaming with Stevie here. We were just talking Captain America, New Brave World. It's some good conversation this past Sunday. So
yeah, and I was in that chat because it was a spoiler free live stream. So if you want to hear some of the spoiler free discussion in and around the new Captain America. Justin did a stream on Sunday night for that. So
we did our best. We did our best.
We tricked John because John thought it was Lego night. So
I was really looking forward to it. I was excited. Really got messed up. Well, let's say hello to some friends in the chat before we run through the details of the stream for everybody tonight. We got Christina Payne an hour early tailgating, and she beat Las Cruces.
Ooh,
what is happening? The world is upended.
Appreciate
somebody Thanos snapped James there. I don't know what happened. And we got Justin in the chat as well. His link is down below, and you're going to need it because on March 11th, when we come back, we're over on Justin's channel. And yes, that is March 11th, meaning you guys have a little bit of a break. You got to soak up your Omni X-Men tonight because there'll be other things to watch in the meantime. Obviously, we're going to continue having fun, good things happening on the YouTubes, but
that's true.
March 11th, back on his channel. Be ready for it. Matt in Clemson's in the chat. What's going on, Matt? He says, gonna get in here as soon as I can, guys. Got sent to Orlando for a work conference, and that turned into a big comic shop night tonight. Woo! Nice. That sounds like a good trip to me.
Yeah, it's not a bad work conference.
Right? We got Mark from Legion of Comics in the chat, dropping all those channel member emojis, hanging out. I love it. I appreciate you, sir. And he had a live stream today talking about new DC books. I appreciate that. And he had a spoiler-filled Sunday night live stream talking about Brave New World. So you can get all of your Cap updates if you want to go get them.
Nice.
JP says we're going to be late. You were on the phone with me, buddy. You were on the phone with me.
He's trying to sabotage you.
Just because we were talking about fairy smut off screen doesn't mean, I'm all to blame on this.
There it is.
We got Magic Lasso in the chat. What's going on, Magic Lasso? He says hello to everybody, all of the panel members, including Spidey Comics, Diana Ross Parker, Rachel Spider Dinners. He's throwing in a lot of Spidey goodness because this is a Spidey team up show tonight.
That's right.
I don't see any hats, though. I don't see any hats, Ryan. You built it up and then you didn't do anything. Hats off to the hat off. There it is.
Nice.
All right. Adam makes stuff up. What's going on, Adam? Good to see you, sir. Indiana John's here. Yes, that's right. What is going on, Gordon? Good to see you, Gordon. How's your Tuesday night going? I said you wouldn't be late. And I wasn't. I'm just telling you, just to be aware. Justin is the best YouTuber today in combo community because he showed a Dazzler book on Instagram today. He did, and on YouTube. I hope you saw it on YouTube and liked it in both.
He did. He raised his hand on the YouTube. He left a nice comment.
I sent him your way. I made sure I tagged him. Whenever I see Dazzler or Wonder Woman, you got to tag him. So thanks everybody for coming tonight. This is Omni X-Men. This is the show where we're going through the New Mutants this year, omnibus issue by issue, having a lot of fun, and eventually giving a lot of goodies away to you. So you need to hang around to the end. We ask trivia of last issue and the last show we did. So if you watch it or if you just want to have a laugh, you got to stick around to the end. Try to make Stevie laugh. Get on that list because he's dominating it right now. He and Magic Lasso are controlling the board.
I was gonna say I can't score this episode.
So this is the perfect night to like get in there and make some way for yourself.
That's right.
So that happens at the end of the show. So make sure you stick around for that, or at least come back around for that because you're gonna want to get on the list. What is up, neighbor to the frozen north? TM Nerdy. How you doing, Travis? Good to see you, sir. All right. Well, let's get to know Stevie a little bit. His links are down below, Instagram and YouTube, so you can follow Conlon Comics wherever you go. I didn't put the whatnot, but he's got a whatnot as well. So if anybody has that and drops that, I would appreciate it. I'll try to add it later on and make sure that it's in the description down below.
Oh yeah, it's linked on my Instagram and stuff too, so you can find it there.
There you go.
Awesome. All right. I gotta ask, favorite New Mutant. Who is your favorite New Mutant?
This is tough. I picked this issue specifically because I thought going through this and kind of reading this, I thought it would be Cannonball. But I think Danny Moonstar is like by far the best character so far. Like at least up until this point. Like I absolutely love her. And I like Sunspot later on and stuff too. But Danny is like really stolen the show, I think, so far.
That's a very fair assessment.
Demon Bear.
Yeah. Her character's awesome. I really want to learn more about her character.
Yep, for sure. All right. Then do you have a favorite of the new X-Men team, the Claremont era team? Do you have a favorite of that crew?
Nightcrawler, probably. He was always the one I was most drawn to.
Love it.
Choke on that, Ryan. Deal with it. Sorry, that was for Colossus Comics. He's not here in the chat, but he will catch us on the replay and he will giggle at that. Yes. Of the male characters, as much as I grew up loving Wolverine, Nightcrawler's always been a favorite for me. Something about his moral quandary and his sensitivity and team building, and
a lot of layers for that character.
And I was also talking to Justin about this on the Comic Origin interview. I was always drawn to like character design first and foremost, so that's always what caught my eye. And then I wanted to learn more about that character, so he just caught my eye. He was such a dynamic looking character.
Well, and I think doing this reread with Justin, I've noticed more Nightcrawler stuff that I may have missed the first time through. So seeing some of that with fresh eyes as an adult has really like connected me to him in a bigger way. So that's been kind of one of the fun benefits of this series. All right. Do you have a favorite non-Claremont X story? Like something outside of his time on the book?
Probably the Frank Miller Wolverine. Ooh. And also maybe like the start of X-Men, just the X-Men, the Jim Lee. The first issue is Claremont, but after that.
Right.
So
that early part of that run.
The Wolverine Frank Miller stuff is probably one of my favorite X-Men stories ever. It's just amazing. For sure.
Nice.
That's great. No, I love it. No, technically it's a joke shirt because it says Wakanda. It says Wakanda on my Wu-Tang shirt. So it's a joke. People don't catch it. I get either reaction, so it's nice that your eyes are working though. I appreciate that. All right. Last question: who is a bigger jerk, Cyclops or Xavier?
I would have probably said Cyclops for most of my time as a comic book fan, but this show has converted me to a hater of Professor X. I'm fully on board with Professor X being a jerk.
Yeah.
It's especially in this run.
There's been a lot of highlights.
I feel like it's been particularly bad.
Yeah.
And I think the more you connect with Kitty Pryde, the more you're like, God, this school is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And also with this run, like they're kids, like, and it really hits home that they're not being taken care of the way they should be.
Thank goodness for Stevie Hunter is all I gotta say.
Yes,
Stevie Hunter.
The dance instructor is like Karen.
Yes,
you better be paying her or something.
I mean, probably not knowing
Yeah,
Xavier.
probably not.
Although we find out that he's sending up money to a lot of different places.
I was gonna say,
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a charitable side. To
There's a
him that we
good
don't
side,
understand.
yeah.
Maybe. They don't
Well, I
highlight
appreciate
it.
it, Stevie. Yeah. I appreciate you you're riding the gauntlet for us and joining us for tonight, because tonight is a non-New Mutants technically issue. This is Marvel Team Up Comics. So let's bring that to the screen here and dive right in. This is Marvel Team Up issue 49 from October of 84. Brett Blevins on artwork. And I just got to ask, guys, when you saw this cover, you flipped to this, Justin. What were you thinking? What were your thoughts here on this cover?
I mean, I always kind of wondered what looks to be like white smoke, on the right hand side.
You can say it. It's the Wendigo
Going after, yeah, kind of, yeah. Yeah, it's not necessarily an attractive cover overall. It's a little oddly like positioned, I guess, with everything. And we're seeing the typical Cannonball, doing his move and not in just in a straight line. It's kind of hard to get too excited by this particular cover, so I don't know. Didn't really do it for me. I will say it's accurate to the story, which is nice.
Right.
Which is something I always look for. But I don't know if I just saw this on the cover or on the stand, walking into a shop when this was first coming out. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be really pulled into it. I mean, Spidey's part of it. That's big. And if you're a big Cannonball fan, then sure, maybe you're going to dive into it. But
right.
I'm kind of hoping like, where's the rest of the New Mutants at this point?
Well, and even the Marvel Team Up logo is really tiny compared to the superhero names. Like the logo even leaves a little something for me.
Yeah.
We got Rod the Rican in the chat. What's going on, Rod?
Ooh.
Appreciate you, sir. This was, the second to last issue of Marvel Team Up. You are correct. Stevie, what are your thoughts on the cover? When you flip to this first cover, what'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. The villain definitely stands out, but it doesn't seem accurate to the comic, which is I thought like looking at this cover, this was going to be like a Cloud or an Air type villain or like a Wendigo type villain. Not the case. So that was a little weird to me. The Cannonball trade is a little weird to me. The thing I like most about this cover is the Twin Towers and the Brooklyn Bridge.
Sure.
At the bottom, I love finding covers that have the Twin Towers on them and stuff like that. There's like a handful of them out there. They're always like appeal to me. And then the other thing that stood out was the trade box with you get the black suit Spidey, which is really cool. But then you get like the flat top Cannonball. It just really is a little odd to me.
Right.
And I do agree. I was wondering why this would be a Cannonball issue and not just a New Mutants issue team up.
Yeah.
It seemed a little odd to me. So like if I was going through team up, I'd be like Cannonball. Oh, okay.
You got to sell the New Mutants and Spider-Man. You got to put them together.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what they did to kind of boost some, runs and stuff like that. It was to team them with Spider-Man. So
throw Spidey in every book.
Like,
yeah,
pretty much.
Absolutely. JP says this New Mutants run might make me say Xavier is worse than Scott, but big gap to third worst mutant. Robert also says, isn't this the Cannonball Run movie discussion? No. I think you got your nights a little mixed up there, Gore, but we're happy to have you. Good to see you in the chat, sir. JP also says it looks like they're attacking the genie of white smoke. Yeah.
It's definitely a smoke monster.
Yeah.
I legit thought we were going to get the Wendigo, so I was a little stunned. I was like, oh, that's the Wendigo. Yeah, clearly they're fighting the Wendigo. It makes sense, right? All right, well, let's get into the interior of the story called The Incandescent Man. And we start off with a young couple on their way to New York discussing potentially maybe moving and starting a new life there. And the man is kind of trying to show off and talk a little bit about the ferry and how it docks and the beautiful things you see. And then the woman looks down and says, oh my gosh, there's a dead body in the water. Holy cow. And so while they're busy staring at that, the crew pulls this person onto the ship. And the second they do, this person starts lighting up and they are absorbing all the electrical energy around them and then killing the two men that rescue them. This person rises up, sort of exultant, like they've just gotten a new lease on life. And meanwhile, the entire area around the dock there goes black. He has absorbed all the electrical energy from this entire area. So we have clearly met the incandescent man, or so the man talking to his girlfriend names him in the moment. Oh, look, that's an incandescent man, which is, that's common phrase. That's just how people talk, right? Justin, what were your thoughts here on this opening few pages as we dive into the story?
Yeah, the way I had read that, I was like, "Oh, he must be like really well known as that name, like for her to just like call him out." But it turns out she's just pure coincidence. No, this splash page, more to point out with kind of what Stevie said about the cover, seeing the Twin Towers there and really lit up and bright, onto the left side. That's what stands out to me most. I do think the shading of the shadows and the light that kind of flickers off the water, all that stuff is really nice detail too, showing that it's it's an evening. We get these two, Steve and Sam, that are together. I was actually wondering if there was any tie-in to the guy Steve, who refers to himself as he's deciding to stay in New York because he's an illustrator. I was like, was there a Steve at that time that was a penciler or an inker?
Lealoa, right? Lealoa.
Steve, true. Oh yeah, Lealoa. Yeah, he was.
A lot of Marvel.
I didn't know if like Epting was at that time. Steve.
No, it was too early for Steve.
Too early. Okay. Yeah. So maybe it was that guy. I don't know what he looks like, but he almost looks like John Byrne a little bit with that
the beard and the
beard and stuff. Yeah. But so I'm like, oh, that's got to be somebody. So I'm curious. That might be a question for Claremont too down the road.
Well, and we've had that happen a bunch, right, in these books.
Yeah.
During this stretch where an artist or a writer appears in the book.
Yep. 100%. And then that last panel there of the guy, it reminds me of the Boogeyman from
the Boogeyman.
Yeah, just the way the face is drawn and the eyes, and pretty wild. So
I love it. Stevie, what about you? What were your feelings on the birth of the incandescent man here?
Yeah, I thought the skyline, all the New York stuff was really cool on this page. I kind of thought the same thing about the writer, because this is Louise Simonson, and I was wondering if there's like some tie, or she was writing kind of from, real life situations, because she's talking about being an illustrator, like the guy's talking about being an illustrator. So I was like, I wonder if there's some like real life story behind this a little bit. So I kind of thought the same thing, Justin.
Yeah.
And then, they're definitely trying to push incandescent as a normal vocabulary word, which is just not the case. And I agree. The last panel, when they show his face, I was like, whoa, this guy is freaky. That's not. Yeah. I was like, next page. Like, did not like that.
He does give me like Carnage vibes. The color design has a little Carnage style.
And the two like Port Authority or dock workers that just get smoked right off. Like, oh man, like just get fried right away. I'm like, geez.
They're just trying to do a good deed, man. They just got wiped out.
Just pulled you out of the water, guy.
Yeah. What's up? Candace is in the chat. She says cannonball, indie hat. I see what you did there. It's a hat night. You're gonna see more hats than you could ever manage tonight.
That's right. That's right.
JP's like, they already have an Electro. They needed another name. I get it. She says, I would have picked Halogen Man. Those bulbs are more dangerous. That's true. We got somebody else. Wait, who else jumped in the chat? Stevie. We got another Scotty Vaughn. Now we got Scotty Vaughn in the chat. Hope everyone's having a great night. Thank you for coming by. That's fun. I appreciate you, sir. And we got aggressively relaxing. He says, oh no, it's Black Light Bloke. Maybe we need to come up with a better name for the incandescent man.
Yeah.
Matt is home safely. Okay, good. I'm glad nice. you're back safe and sound.
Tuned in now.
Well, I agree with you guys. I love the color work here, especially that cityscape is gorgeous. The water really, really well handled in all the pages here. And then of course, the design and the incandescent man looks pretty cool. I got to agree. Well, let's jump to our first moment of hats. Yes. Nothing like seeing gullible, down on his luck Sam Guthrie going shopping and looking for a hat for his mom. And what do you do when you're looking for a hat? You try on mom's hat. That's the logical step too. Like Sam's in the department store trying on the hat, looking pretty awesome. Although, let's be fair, Sam doesn't even know what sales tax is because he's shocked to find out that the base price is not the price of the item, that he actually will have to pay a little bit extra for it. Yeah, and he grew up fairly poor, and so for him this is a lot of money, but he's missing his mom and he wants to send her something. He knows that I think it's mentioned here that Professor Xavier is sending some money to his mom because he can't work right now while he's at the school, but he also knows his mom doesn't really accept charity, so she's obviously going to probably throw a bit of a fit over it. So he's trying to just keep her in his heart, keep her on his mind by purchasing this really impressive pink hat for her. Meanwhile, as he's walking through the city afterwards, he sees Spider-Man flipping over up ahead, and he's like, wow, I'm sure that guy has no problems. I'm sure Spider-Man lives the dream. He's got all the money, all the babes, and it's just life is peachy keen for him. And we cut to Spidey thinking about how he's struggling to make ends meet. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I had to quit school because I couldn't do school, Spider-Man, and work and Spider-Man were not going to be negotiable elements. So I had to really consider what I'm doing. I also got to get some good pictures of Spidey because I got to sell those pictures. I caught some thugs earlier, so let's finish out this role, take some city shots because I got to make ends meet and I got to develop this role so that I can sell some pictures. But he's stressing, he's struggling as he rolls into the Daily Bugle there and hopes to cash in on the photos that he took. So you really have, two Marvel characters down on their money luck here as we dive in. Stevie, what are your thoughts on the similarities between young Sam and not quite so young Peter Parker here?
Yeah, I really like these early pages in this issue because I just thought it was really cool, the dichotomy of the two characters and stuff like that. But there's some really great stuff in here when he's like, Mom really likes flowers and feathers, and like the one hat he tries on has flowers and feathers on it, like, and the girl's laughing at him behind him, like, so great. But I thought it was a good job of like making you Sam appeal to you. Like, who doesn't love like a kid looking out for his mom and stuff like that? Like, I really thought it was a heartfelt scene. He's just really down on himself, though. This guy could use some confidence very badly. You wish there was a professor or something that would step in and boost his confidence or something like that a little bit. But I do think it's really funny when he's like, I bet Spider-Man doesn't have to worry about school. The next panel, Spider-Man's like, I wish I didn't drop out of school. Like, it's just like amazing. The timing when reading it was so good. But yeah, it was just I really like these couple panels and stuff like that, or these couple pages, I mean.
For sure. No, well said. I love it. We got Sheena from Melanin and Manga, or maybe Inja in the chat. Inja. How you doing, ladies? And we got Brother Joe stationed to Brother Joe in the chat. How you doing, sir? Yeah, Justin, what are your thoughts on, obviously Sam and Peter Parker clearly have a lot in common here, right?
Yeah, I mean, sales tax sucks, That's what I took from this page.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, poor Sam, getting a taste of the real world. I wanted to highlight. I love Sam. I mean, I love his just what he's all about and his family and his concerns of his mom, and also the fact that he's supposed to be the guy, the man of the house who's is supposed to be the one raising money for his family, and he had. He's put that on hold to go to school. And I did not know that Professor X was, apparently giving money out to his mom, which is nice of Professor X. I don't know what all those details are. But that is nice to know that, he's trying to take care of her, even if she doesn't, fully feel comfortable accepting it. And I think that this was Sam's attempt to kind of add a little luxury back into her life, because he talked about that his mom was here a long time ago, and that Saks Avenue was like the place that she wanted to always go, and so this was kind of an extra special thing. And since now is not the time for anybody to really be spending money, I think it was his goal to kind of add a little bit to that to cheer his mom up a little, which I love that. That middle panel there of Spidey just jumping from wall to wall or building to building, just love that. I clearly throughout all of this issue, I clearly need to read more Spider-Man, because I'm enjoying this character more and more just from the little bits that we get throughout this issue. And I definitely don't read enough of this. Magic Lasso has been telling me for a long time now I need to read Spectacular Spider-Man. So yeah, this was great. And I took this as a deeper meaning too. Like, that, just even in life, like a lot of us may look at other people's, lives and what they're doing, what they're up to. Even from a collector standpoint, might be like seeing other people's collections and judging their own versus theirs on Instagram.
Absolutely.
And you really have no idea what someone else is going through or what kind of day they're having or anything like that.
The grass is always greener type of thing.
Yeah. Like it's easy to, and so it's totally understandable for Sam to have this thought. It is funny and kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Because dude, like, if you just get to know Peter a little bit more, Sam, you're going to find out real quick that, I mean, he's been, he's on the tail end of his ropes too. And he's struggling with, like you said, John, the 3 different, types of people he wants to be between the student, the Spider-Man and, what was the third? The photographer. Yeah. So I definitely have to make some decisions there. One other thing too, to the far end, I don't know if you mentioned it, but just they do mention briefly the little tie back in for the black Spidey suit. Yeah. Because this whole era was just about that time, and they had just gotten back from the Beyonder and all that stuff from Secret Wars. So
I think this is the first issue he's back in the regular suit.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It's definitely one of them, like one of the ones right after.
Yeah. Nice.
Exactly. This is him post the getting rid of the suit, and the Fantastic Four now have it in their lab.
Yeah. I was curious what Sam's mom would think about the professor letting Sam just wander around New York City as a teen. Like I was like in the 80s. I was like, New York's kind of a dangerous city just to be wandering around by yourself. I guess, he is a mutant, but like, I was like, I don't know how Mama Sam would feel about that.
I think if we start asking the question of what parents would think about what Xavier lets their kids do, we're going down a rabbit hole. It's
slippery slope
deep.
there.
Yeah, definitely. We got Richard in the chat. What's going on, Richard? Happy to see you, my friend. Hope things are going well in your world. 62 Lefty Blues is in the chat. No, we haven't seen it. I was talking to Stevie before we went live how, I'm planning season 7 and 8 of this show already. We're already looking deep into this. Is season 6. We got lots of things. This is season 5.
Season 5, yeah.
we got lots of big things planned.
Yeah, there's no end.
Yeah, there is
never ends.
Air quotes, right? I agree with you guys. I love the combo of these characters. So I was excited. And Justin, just you heard him announce the Omni Amazing Spider-Man coming soon to channel.
Yeah, that was that's the drop right there. That's the drop.
It's all happening. So let's get back to the story. Yeah, Peter tries to sell some photos. They don't go over too well. They kind of feel like they've already seen this kind of stuff. They do think that the photos of the city are really beautiful, and yet they want something different from him. So he goes back out thinking like, what am I going to do? Find another superhero to take pictures of? This is ridiculous. Meanwhile, the Incandescent Man is sort of shutting down borough by borough as he worked his way through New York. And he's being tracked by a mysterious woman who jumps in her helicopter and starts flying across the city to catch up with him. Meanwhile, Sam's just strolling his way home, passing the, I think it's the New York Public Library lion there from, I think of it from Ghostbusters, as he's walking down the way. And a mob of people go running past him, fleeing in horror from a monster. And he's thinking, all right, I got to get to work, I guess. And meanwhile, the woman in the helicopter is zeroing in on the Incandescent Man. So all of our sort of plot lines are converging in downtown New York as we get through here, Justin. So what are your thoughts here on the developments that we're getting?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, seeing Peter kind of getting rejected by his photographs, I mean, in my mind, I'd think like, wow, like anybody would just be happy that Peter got these really close things. But Robbie's like tired of it. He's like, hey, we need something better than this.
He knows he's got to show it to J. Jonah Jameson, and he's absolutely throw it out the window. Nope, J. Jonah likes nothing.
Right. And I like that Robbie almost starts to recognize that some of the other photos that he turns in look better than what the ones he took of Spidey and him. He's like, of course, like I took those of the skyline, and he's using his powers, I'm sure, to like do that, but also using his skill. Whereas when he's taking pictures of himself as Spidey, he has to do like set it on automatic and put it in a corner and hope that it, catches what he wants. Like, so, of course they're just going to be better than those other ones. So I like that they point that little detail out. And again, just something that Spider-Man is struggling with. I love this panel here. The Spidey, just the pose that he's doing as he's kind of whipping through the city. And then, these little sprinkles of, we get the Catskill Mountains and this random hand this is what Claremont does, just kind of throwing in some extra random stuff and not knowing for sure who this is or why this is. But, we'll find out later, I guess, to a degree. And lastly, I do like that the New York, when Sam's getting pushed around, he's like, nah, man, I know New Yorkers are pushy, but this is crazy. Like, meanwhile, they're like running for their lives.
Right.
I'm like, it's every day in New York, man.
You just got to fight your way through the city streets.
Happens every day.
Yeah.
Stevie, any thoughts from you on how things are going with Peter at work or with the incandescent man and this mysterious woman?
Yeah, I love the panels with Robbie because I was just like, I wish this conversation came up more where it's like, really, Peter, Spider-Man again? Like, you got anything else for us? It's like, yeah, you obviously want these pictures of Spider-Man, but it's like the only thing this guy turns in is at any point someone going to be like, how about just something else, man, please? Like anything else.
Yeah.
But I thought that part was really funny. And I also thought when Robbie tells her that the people have gotten bored with it. He's like, ouch, man. Like, because you see when he goes to like swing away, he's like, maybe I shouldn't save these people if they're bored with me. And then he's like, wait, no, stop.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, doesn't take much to get under his skin here. So I just thought that was really funny. The other thing was, are we supposed to know who this mysterious character is? Like,
no,
even at the end of the book, I was like, I'm still not 100% sure I know who that is.
Oh yeah, no.
Or if I'm supposed to.
Nope.
It's first. Yeah, for both of the characters.
Good, because I'm like, this is not registering. So, but yeah, and then I just get the line in the background with Sam, just some more cool, iconic New York stuff in this book. So I love seeing stuff like that too. But
well, let's get some more cool New York stuff as we get Peter and Cannonball coming in contact with the incandescent man. Peter Parker is swinging through, and Sam's like, "Oh wow, that's Spider-Man. I should help him out. Sounds like there's trouble coming up." So he blasts off right towards Times Square, where we've got the incandescent man trying to absorb a whole lot of energy all around him. Sam is still at this point struggling with some of the ability to turn. He's just sort of directed in one angle at a time. And he's trying to rescue some of the police officers who are trying to defeat this creature, but not being very successful. And when he knocks the policeman out of the way, he strikes a fire hydrant, and all of this water splashes onto the incandescent man, and he instantly starts reacting negatively to being hit by this water. And I know you're all wondering where the hat went, because this is kind of the Where's Waldo of the book, is who's got the hat now? A dog finds the hat on the ground and starts running off with it. So the hat playing its pivotal part in pushing the plot forward here. Stevie, what are your thoughts on poor hapless Sam and his hat?
Yeah, I love the street dog taking the hat. Definitely is the best part of these. But yeah, it's and even when I don't know if it's happened yet, but when he gets scooped by Spider-Man, he's like, no, the hat, like don't leave the hat. Like, yeah. So but like the art on the monster really kind of caught my eye on these panels. Like, he's just really weird looking. Like, and I'm not saying like in a bad way, but again, with like the mouth of the monster, for some reason, that was like a point of like really weird, and like the way they drew it. I don't know what it was about it, but I was like, then this monster is such a freaky looking villain. But
yeah, no, I totally agree. There's some really interesting character design going on there. Justin, what are your thoughts on Sam Guthrie trying to be the hero and yet trying to also protect his mom's hat?
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to balance everything. Being a hero is a juggle. You got to juggle, John. It kind of worked out when he accidentally, there's a lot of coincidences in this book, like a lot of things that just conveniently kind of work out. But him hitting the fire hydrant and kind of, that's our first bit of kind of realizing like, okay, this city water is what's, kind of putting him down a little bit. So maybe there's something more to that. The other thing I just liked on these pages was just like taking in all the signs from Times Square. I mean, Coca-Cola being the big one. I'm curious about, I'm not actually really familiar with the rest of them, but like, I'm curious, maybe this is just of that time, or if there was another reason behind that either Chris or Blevins, had decided to kind of put those details in the background. But I always like to see if there's any, secret message or, thing like that in the background. So
clearly the Kaja Fall or the Birdcage was a popular show at this particular moment, because they've got that playing at the Palace Theater directly above the monster there. Yeah. So there's at least an element of Broadway going on there, right?
For sure. Yeah.
So let's continue ourselves along here to the next bit. While Sam is trying to chase down this dog who took his mom's hat, Spider-Man is busy taking pictures. He's like, yeah, let the kid get hurt. I'm gonna just I gotta get some photos. He's like, oh wait, he's getting a little too close. Let me web this creature and rescue Sam in the hat real quick. Sam is just keeping an eye on the prize. He's like, Justin, I'll give you a little. He's like a wide receiver. He makes the catch there. Ooh. He really snags it. He's watching the ball and not really caring about his own life. Meanwhile, Spider-Man's like, I got you, kid. He swings him up. He swings him up onto a rooftop so they can have a little powwow and strategize. Sam is like, I know you met me, but you probably don't remember. And he's like, I remember you, Cannonball. And then he's like, you know my name? Holy cow. Meanwhile, Sam's like, oh, I should have just taken these clothes off because I have my suit underneath all this time. I'll get in the gear, the superhero gear. And then Spider-Man's like, is this your hat? I was like, no, it's a present for my mom. I swear. Okay, well, let's leave it here on the roof and we'll go take care of this monster real quick. It seems like he's getting smaller. Maybe that water impacted him. Then, Peter Parker, being the science student that he is like, maybe it's our city water that has high mineral content is acting as a superconductor and damaging the creature, which really quickly he came to that logical conclusion. I was kind of impressed by that, Justin. I don't know. It's Justin's turn. What are your thoughts on Spider-Man's logic jump here to recognize what's going on with the creature?
Yeah, I mean, he put it together, pretty quickly. It just goes to show he definitely has, can have the smarts if he wanted to apply himself more in that direction of school. But again, can't juggle all of it.
Peter Parker's lazy. We know that.
Yeah. One part I really liked about this is, and I guess this is just throughout the book, and this is just the character as a whole. But I love Spider-Man and what he says to Cannonball on the far page. The little powwow that they have there. One, like, it's just a total boost for Sam overall. Like, he recognizes him, he remembers his name. Sam's blown away because even the first time that we saw the two of them meet, earlier in this season that we read, Sam was shocked the first time of even just being in the same room as that guy. He didn't even know that he existed. He thought he was just a tale that people had made up or talked about. So for him, he's so starstruck for a guy like Spider-Man. And so for Spider-Man to call him by his name, and of course to even point out, like, yeah, who else, has the ability to shoot like a rocket and all this other stuff. Like, those details I feel like meant so much to Sam. And then the biggest part was when he said, Sam's like really down on himself, being negative about himself, thinking that he's going to get, flunk out of Professor X's school. And Spider-Man says, I don't know, Cannonball. Seems like you are doing okay to me. And I feel like just that verbiage alone to a kid, to anybody, to anybody that's like either struggling or just needs those words of encouragement, like Spider-Man just like he hits it on the head every time. And I feel like that's we see Sam's growth a lot just in this issue, all thanks to, or big thanks to Spider-Man. So that little bit there I felt like provided a lot for him.
Sure.
And yeah, I think that's it. That was the other thing.
And Stevie, as you mentioned earlier, if only Sam had somebody in his life to regularly reinforce that positivity, right?
Yeah, seriously, look at what this does for this guy. Like, and also I think this issue does a really good job of, like, you see what Spider-Man is to Sam. And so when you see those things, or when you hear him say those things to Sam, you can really feel what it means to him. Like, oh wow, man, if this guy thinks I'm not a complete mess up, then maybe I'm not. Like, but those parts are really great. I loved seeing those parts in this panel. I also love when Sam is scooping. Spidey's scooping Sam. He's grabbing the hat. That's such a great little panel down there. But yeah, like it's just it's so well done. It obviously means so much to Sam. So it was really nice to see. Also, in the last panel on this slide, you'll see him say "golly." If you read this issue and you take a shot every time Sam says "golly," you'll be pretty drunk by the end of this issue. I'm just letting you guys know.
Yeah,
you drinking?
We're not recommending that drinking game.
Yeah. It gets to like the fifth golly, and I was like, "Wow, it's just this is all this guy says is golly." So good.
I appreciate all the fun chat going on here. Yes, I made a football reference, Matt. You can.
Matt, what is happening?
Something that if you were playing a drinking game, you would be stone cold sober most of your life. I'm just saying, you'd be in AA just fine. You'd be doing it right. Bobby says there's all that fluoride. That's what's causing the electrical conduits, right? That's what's making it happen. And yeah, Candace, we all need some Peter Parker and less Xavier, right? We all need a little bit. That's the switch we're looking for.
That's right.
All right, well, let's continue. Yeah, right. Doesn't take that much work, Xavier.
No.
You know. So we see here is the incandescent man struggling a little bit and then connecting to all those billboards in Times Square and absorbing a huge ton of energy and sort of causing this epic blackout. And Peter Parker and Cannonball are kind of stunned, and then they see this helicopter come flying in, and they're like, "That's a very strange looking helicopter." Wait, my hat! And the hat goes flying away thanks to those darn helicopter propeller winds. And now Cannonball's like, "Well, I got to chase the hat down." Meanwhile, the helicopter drops some strange sort of netting over this creature that seems to try to contain it for a little while, but he melts through it pretty quickly. He has absorbed so much energy from Times Square that he is melting this pretty quickly. Sam catches the hat and then is like, "Oh, great, I'm going to crash. I got to figure out a way to turn as quickly as I can, but I hit the statue. I really hope it's not expensive. I hope this isn't old and an antique in some way." And he crashes pretty hardly, but he swings back around to try to get back into the fray amidst all this drama. Stevie, I feel like poor Sam in this hat. This is the crux of our story. I feel like is, can Sam protect the hat?
He's trying so hard here. He just wants to get the hat to mom. Like, I feel so bad for him. But this is the beginning of where Sam just starts to trash New York City. Like, starts with the statue, it just gets worse. Like. Yep. But it's great. But yeah, then I was just like, man, the hat. Can we just put the hat in a safe space and like
put a rock on it?
Like,
use some of that webbing and like strap it down.
Seriously.
Yeah. It's not like either of these guys can afford to buy another one, right?
No.
Justin, any thoughts on the incandescent man and this mysterious helicopter that's coming to kind of capture him?
Yeah, I mean, learned a little bit about this, damper net that's kind of thrown out. Whoever this person is in the helicopter, clearly seems like they've somewhat dealt with this before and, knows some of the tricks to at least trying to slow them down. I do like the design work. I know you guys had talked about it earlier. Seeing him kind of, curl up his fist there, about to, throw a punch at the two of them, the shadow, the fact that he's so bright and just seeing the black shadows on their backs, on these pages down here, thought it was really well done. And the other thing too, we can only go so far until New Mutants, crashing things, shows up. So in this case, Cannonball, sticking to what they do best and, making a mess, as good as they do. So that poor statue, hope it wasn't
I mean, it looks valuable, but what statues are not, right? It's not.
Right.
There's not the like casual statues.
Yeah. Plastic.
So next, he flies back with the hat, and he's really just struggling to kind of figure out how to be useful. Sam is looking for a way to be helpful. Peter Parker is like, "No, what we should do? You should pick him up and you should fly him all the way to the river, because if you can get him out there to the Hudson River, we could just drop him in there." And Sam's like, "Okay, I'll do my best. Here, hold on to my hat." And Peter Parker's like, "Yeah, I got your hat." And then he picks him up and starts flying off, and then real quickly says, "Wait, where's Hudson River?" I'm not quite sure what I'm doing here. I'm doing all the work while you take pictures. Where am I going with this thing? And Sam's like, "No, it's that way. Like, it's back that way. I'll help you out." But then he sees the helicopter start falling, and Peter's like, "Well, I can't help the kid now. I can't take pictures either. I've got to clearly help whoever's in this stupid helicopter flying over this event." So lots of unusual choices here, Stevie. I kind of feel like Peter Parker. He's not known for being a mentor. He's not living up to it here. He's balancing all these different things. I got to take pictures. I got to make my money. I got to take care of the kid. And this hat, for some reason, he's like, there's a lot. He's carrying a lot of weight.
Yeah. Is this the panel where he's like, "Oh, maybe I should stop taking photos and help"? Like, I was like, yeah, maybe, man. But like, I also like what you said when he points out which way the river is. It's like any way, man. You'll hit a body of water anyway. Just fly him whichever way. It doesn't matter.
Manhattan's an island, right?
Yeah. What you just see in that bottom panel, he's just like blasting through New York City, and even he like to himself was like, "I don't think New York can take much more of this."
No.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a cannonball. He is causing some wreckage in his wake. Justin, any thoughts here on Peter Parker, the mentor, or the hat? Who, the hat is in a lot of risk here.
Yeah, poor hat. This definitely makes me think of Peter's relationship to Iron Man in like the MCU, and like Iron Man being the mentor in this case, and like I just wonder if like Peter ever thinks like, oh, is this what Iron Man puts up with or something. I know the comics are probably a little different from the movies, but just like telling Sam to just take him to the water, and Sam not knowing where the water is. That's just a class. I feel like that's something Spidey would have said to Iron Man. Fair. So other thing too, these couple of panels up top here, when we turn the page, it definitely gives me the Paul Smith vibes a little bit.
They're very simple in the design.
Yeah, simple. The face drawings, a little bit of the detail. I just feel like that was what he did too. Maybe that's what it is. The fact that it was like so simple, or broken down in less colors, especially as opposed to the ones that we just looked at, because there's a lot of lightning and bright colors. I mean, I guess we still get more of that here, but at least for these few kind of panels, you get to zone in just on the characters themselves. So
I want that original art piece of Spidey holding the hat box, the black background.
Panel.
Yeah. Yep.
And to your point, Justin, I think that's an interesting comment on Peter never really having in the Marvel universe having less of a mentor. We get to see Tony in the MCU being something of a mentor, and I know that in the Marvel universe, I've only ever really seen the FF as a sort of team.
I was going to say
something
Reed.
of a mentor. Yeah, Reed. He hangs out with people like Iceman and the Human Torch, but they're more friends, less mentors. And I know that there's comic book storylines when he connects to people like Reed, or people like The Thing, or people like even Beast. I think Hank McCoy in some ways. But it doesn't really have the mentor the way we see it in the MCU, at least. Unless you, Steve, you have another perspective.
No, I would say probably the closest thing is Reed in the comics. He looks up to him. He's a scientist, things like that. He's like fascinated by him. But that's probably the closest thing in the books, at least the originals.
And he goes to Reed a lot of times for technology assistance, for villain assistance when he feels over, the water's over his head. Yeah,
they reference it in this issue when he brings the black suit to him. He's the one who he brings the black suit to, because he's like, I don't know what to do with this. Like he'll know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the way you said that too about him respecting scientists, because I think that's a big part of Peter's personality for sure, is respecting those engineers and designers and creators for sure. I do agree with Bobby that hats are cheaper than statues, but he doesn't have to pay the bill for the statue, which we'll find out here in a second, because that building he hits is coming down. But while he's dealing with that, we've also got Peter trying to rescue the woman in the helicopter. He rips the door off of it, even though she's like, "You idiot, I'm trying to get myself out of a black spin here. Like, just like take the time, like notice that I'm trying to do something here." But he's like, no. This helicopter's going down. I'm going to pull you out of here, and we'll figure out the rest later. Meanwhile, Cannonball drops the villain into the water of the Hudson River and can't control his trajectory. At this point, he's going too fast, too hard. What he realizes he can do is try a maneuver that he's been practicing in the Danger Room, and what we've seen him do in the New Mutants books as well. He stops his propulsion, completely turns his power off, turns his body in midair, and then turns the propulsion on again and is blasting in a different direction. And it works, and he crashes down into the water in the Hudson River. So it's a trick we've seen do before, which kind of makes this issue tougher to place chronologically, because we've seen him sort of not master, but use this technique more consistently lately. But here we see him seem to feel like, I haven't used this in the real world yet. So I don't know, Justin, how your thoughts. Did you feel like you had trouble placing this issue chronologically?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely stood out to me, where I was thinking, like, I feel like he had completed that move a bit more in a safer zone, whether it be the Danger Room or just in a lesser situation, where the stakes were not as high,
right?
So to speak. So I feel like this was kind of the first time, not only the first time that he kind of did it in a bigger battle, but also without any of his friends or peers. Like, I mean, there was no other New Mutants there because remember, everyone else had kind of coached him at that point or told him that. I just think back of like Roberto, whatever it was, like move number 7 or whatever it was from a couple issues ago. Like he had people kind of chanting or shouting to him on what to do. Here, he doesn't have any of that. He has to just think on his feet and be confident about it and make the move. He did get some inspiration, some idea from Spider-Man, but other than that, he was just kind of on his own. So I really like this moment. I thought that this was a breakthrough for him a little bit compared to what we have seen previously, where he doesn't have Professor X whispering in his head, reminding him of the things, Roberto yelling what to do or anything like that. So this I thought was pretty big for Sam. And again, credit to Spider-Man, because he kind of showed him like how to do it, not by like accidentally, just like doing his own thing. And he just like, oh, that kind of makes sense. If I could do that too with my body, that'd be that would work. So he kind of just thought of that, plus the training. I do like, he mentions Professor X and Nightcrawler, that they've been trying to get him to do this for a while. So he just finally executes it. So
I like how you said that Professor X whispers in his ear, because I don't know that I've ever seen a whisper. There's a lot of exclamation marks.
Yeah, very loud.
A lot of exclamation marks.
Giant projected head screaming at him. Like,
yeah,
more like
out of nowhere. Like,
And Bobby says, yes, Professor Xavier taught him this. This is a trick, and should definitely consider this the stop, drop, and roll. Stevie, any thoughts on what's going on here? Because obviously, I think Peter Parker is way too casual about finding a masked figure in the cockpit of this helicopter. He's kind of like, nah, that's a normal Saturday night. Like, I'll rescue this person. They couldn't possibly be part of the problem here.
Yeah, they're also both pretty casual about letting a helicopter just drop in the middle of New York City, where it's like, I know they say multiple times it's not going to hit anyone, so it's like at least they clear that up with the reader. But it's like, you're just dropping a helicopter in the middle of a crowded city. But whatever, no one's going to get hurt. It's fine.
Accurate.
But yeah, the whole interaction with Peter is just pretty hilarious, where she's just basically like, can you please stop whatever you're trying to do? You're just making this worse, like the entire way, which is just hilarious. But then, with the whole thing with Sam, I was a little confused, like what you said, John, like, I feel like that kind of happens sometimes with maybe a Marvel team up issue or something like that, is like, where does this actually fit in timeline wise? So I was a little confused, because I thought the same thing. I was like, didn't he kind of master this already? But you made a good point, Justin, that he does have no other people with him that are kind of coaching him when he does it in the past. So I could see that like playing into it. But I did think it was really funny when he finally does do it, but it just shoots himself into the water. Like, I did it. And he still just crashes right into the water. It's like,
he's proud of himself as he, Great point. I love that.
Yep.
We got James Schultz in the chat. I don't know if this is our Chicago Schultzy friend, but good to see you, James. I hope things are going well for you, buddy. And we got JSS Brooklyn in the chat. What's up, Brooklyn? How are things going for you, sir? Let's see how that helicopter crash goes. Peter Parker rescues the woman out of the helicopter, saves her, and then he straps down the propellers so that they're not going to fly all over the place, as he lets it just sort of come crashing down. And in his head, he thinks, what does he say? Well, that statue's already been trashed, so it doesn't really matter. Love, because partly it covers up the crime where Cannonball can't take the blame for the statue, because the helicopter would have taken it out either way. Meanwhile, the woman removes her head mask piece and is like, "Hey, by the way, I found your hat. I rescued your hat for you. Don't worry about it." And then they're like, "Hey, Cannonball's over there in the water. Let's pull him out and then tell you my backstory. I am the sister of this incandescent man. They experimented on him as part of the Pegasus project, and he fell into the water, and I've been waiting for him to come out of the water so that I could rescue him. I have all this technology, and he's to be saved. We need to save him. Somehow when he comes back out of the Hudson Bay, I need to rescue him, and I'm driven by this need." Stevie, this seems like a lot of backstory to just tell two strangers. I'm just gonna say, like, this is a big info dump. I don't know that anybody asked for this.
I thought this was kind of unexpected. I didn't really think this was necessary, but the only thing that kind of caught my attention was the Pegasus, whatever it was, project or foundation. Yeah, because I was like, I've heard this before, and I know it's come up in Marvel, but it was something like Marvel MCU, but I know it was something different. So when I heard it, I was like, oh, what? like, what are the ties to this? So, but they don't really go into it much. It's just like, This is where it happened. That's all you get. And, but it was kind of interesting because I felt like this story was almost setting up like this character. I don't know if this character really comes back up anywhere. I don't think she's in the next Marvel team up.
No,
or anything like that. So I was like, what happens with this character that they went into the backstory? She's looking for a twin brother. He's like a villain. I'm like, what happened with this? So I'm curious if there's more to this story because there's
a lot of spec value on the first appearance of the incandescent man and his twin sister.
Does she have a name?
I don't even think that
we never get it.
Not important.
Nope.
Yellow jumpsuit.
Right. Justin, any thoughts here on our speech and the Pegasus project? That's clearly the villain that we don't really meet in this storyline.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely was a lot squeezed into a little, and even with it being a lot, it was not there. A lot of nothing. It was not. There was no detail. We never got the names. I was wondering who she was. She's kind of cute. The next couple pages, I was like, okay, like, yeah, let's learn more about her. And then, then there's nothing. So, just whatever this whole ordeal is with the Pegasus storyline. That's about it. I mean, I like that Sam's like in the water. She's like, just come out. Like, I know how this goes. Like, he's alive. I'll find him. And they're like, why do you care? And he's like, it's my twin brother. Oh, reveal. It's like this big reveal for these people. We don't even know their names. We're like, oh my gosh, this twin brother. So that's, I mean, it is what it is. This is, I was kind of wondering where they were going with this, with this masked helicopter flyer, individual. But
well, they're not going to give you that right here, Justin. They want to bleed this out, make it more dramatic.
Yeah.
James tells us he's in Port Huron, Michigan. I hope it's not too cold there. I know a lot of snow being dropped these days. What is going on? Tony's in the chat. He says, loving the panel or just throwing them back. We're having a good night here. We're all having a little sip. I've got the smallest glass in the world. It looks like Stevie's got like triple my size, but I bought this with you, Tony. This is the set I bought with you. So cheers to you, Tony. All right, well, let's wrap this storyline.
Lady Incandescent.
Yeah, Lady Incandescent. That's a good name. Mm-hmm. So let's wrap this up with a really interesting booty shot of the Lady Incandescent as she finishes her story, and then just walks away. She's like, "Okay, that's the end of my story. I'm sorry that we trashed the city, but we out." Yeah. And Spider-Man and Sam are kind of left there, just kind of thinking, "Man, that was a wild ride." By the way, here's your hat. I found it. Don't worry, took care of it. And then there's a little bit of wisdom and fatherly or brotherly advice going on here where Sam and Spider-Man, they share a little bit of a moment. Cannonball talks about the pressures of leadership and how he's really struggling, kind of feeling like he has any value that he brings to the team. He feels kind of clumsy. Spider-Man saying, look, man, Xavier, it should be proud of you. You really were a hero. And it's possible that a photographer snapped some photos that might be in the newspaper tomorrow. And then Cannonball's like, that's amazing, but then my face is out there. I don't know that I feel good about that. I'm a mutant. And this could draw a lot of bad attention to the school if I do that. And Peter Parker's like, nah, man, this is worth it. Trust me, I need the money. And Sam's like, I don't know how I feel about this, but I got to get this hat and I got to get back to school. And Peter thinks about it. And Peter's like, yeah, he's probably right. And he pulls the film out of his camera and chucks it into the water and has to figure out another way to make his money that day. What are your thoughts here on how this kind of wraps up, Justin, the ending of this story? The hat, the photography, the friendship, what's going on?
I'm just a little bummed we did not get the name of the girl, of the helicopter pilot. Yes. And the fact that, she's not even on the last page. She just makes it to this page. We get a close up and that's it. Booty shot, close up, gone. That's all we got. And then it just goes to sometime later. I do like the little powwow. Again, this kind of goes back to what I was saying before about the encouragement and kind of mentorship or leadership even that Spider-Man provides Sam, giving him a bit of a boost because Sam's like, he's kind of ready to go back now and apply these moves and apply, the things that he had kind of experienced, back at in the Danger Room, and to show, his crew. So I like that. And he said, hey, I mean, Professor X should be proud of you. And if for whatever reason he doesn't want to work with you, I would be happy to have you on the team. So that's got to be exciting too for a guy like Sam to be like, oh my God, like this hero said that I could work with him if I ever wanted to. Okay, I'm going to keep that, in the back of my mind. Yeah. So I like that.
He says, really? Golly.
Yeah, another golly. Yeah, a lot of gollies.
Everybody drink.
A lot more gollies.
Everybody drink.
Yeah, everybody drink. And then I do like that he asked about the hat. He goes, it looks expensive. He's like, I might have somebody that, could like a hat like that. He's like, yeah, $54.11. Not enough to bother a guy like you, though. And just love that, again, just thinking back to, Spider-Man. I was like, well, no, I don't really have that kind of cash. So
no.
But it was, I other than the whole randomness of the girl and her twin and the villain in this whole thing, I really
fantastic outfit.
It's
the most skin tight helicopter pilot costume.
Well, yeah, it's important to have it. No, I just love the interaction between these two overall. So this part of it was a good way to kind of end it.
That was the juice for sure. Yeah. Stevie, I don't know what your thoughts were on how these two kind of finish out the story, because there's some nice mentoring going on here.
Yes. Yeah. I did like the way it wrapped up. It was interesting how it wraps up with the pilot. Like, the second panel is nice, I will say that. But the way it just ends so abruptly, even her like little like monologue there, I didn't think that was going to be the last thing she says. It doesn't feel like that'd be the last thing she says.
Yep.
It just
somehow I'll harness all this power to destroy the place that created him. Peace.
Yeah, gone, just vanished like out of thin air. So it just felt very odd. Yeah. But I did like the way it wrapped up. I like when, and this happens a lot with team up issues where it's like both characters kind of got something out of this, because Sam gets this reassurance from Spider-Man, but Spider-Man also gets this different point of view from Sam where he's like, I'm just going to be the best Sam I can be, basically. And Spider-Man kind of takes that to heart as well. Sure. So I really liked the way it wrapped up. It is definitely like a classic, like team up kind of wrap up where it's like everyone kind of gets a little something out of this, like character wise. But the one panel where he tells Sam that he would work with him again, I don't know if it's the way it's drawn. It just looks like he's screaming at him. It's like, if that idiot doesn't appreciate what he's got, you can always work with me. Like, the fist in the air. I was like, hey, okay, Spidey, just take it easy.
Or he's talking with his hands. It's Italian.
But it was also a little bit of a roller coaster, because I thought the same thing where he's like, no, I think when he tells him, I think somebody probably got a couple nice photos of this. You'd be surprised. I think the world's going to know who you are. And he's like, no, I don't think that's what I want. I was like, oh, at first I was like, oh shoot. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But because I was like, oh, right, sweet. Sam's going to get some validation here.
Right.
But then it's like, no, I can't do that. And I'm like, oh, classic hero. Like,
yeah.
Can't the spoils of war.
I got to imagine that some of those photos don't show his face. Like a couple of them got to be like,
costume doesn't cover his face.
So Peter can work around it. Like, fudge it up a little bit. I feel like there's ways around it. He gives up too easily, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Tony says that woman's costume makes him want to buy New Mutant books. Well, I'm sorry.
Never see her again.
She's not going to appear.
Yeah.
It's 11 degrees there and 3 degrees in Chicago for Candace. So yes, cold. Some cold people. Bobby, I'm glad you brought this up, because I threw that SpongeBob in there. Yeah, where's all this litter coming from? Come on, Peter. You could just stretch it out and expose it to the light that now exists because the incandescent man is gone. And you just throw it in a trash can. Like, I don't know why we're throwing it in the ocean. Aquaman.
Namor's down there somewhere.
Namor's going to be pissed off. Yeah, he's going to be very upset.
Who left this garbage here?
So I threw that in there. I made sure that somebody recognized it. Yeah, no name, nice booty, side boob, important things. Yes, we got the priorities. She looks like she's about ready to flip some people off. She's going to bring that bird up at some moment here. Bobby says it's not fit for man or beast in Kansas City. So yeah, balmy 14 degrees and snowing where JP is. So everybody's dealing with it was something like 60 degrees here tonight. It was really nice.
Making me feel warm.
Well, I agree with you guys on how this wrapped out, but let's give this a score. Justin, I know it's your favorite part of the times when I host.
Yeah.
Let me throw it to you. How would you score our Marvel team up storyline?
Oh man, I have to say, I'm gonna keep this one high because I loved the interaction between the two characters. I think this is one of those things where you just got to get over the fact that it's a comic and that there's there's going to be these characters, these villain, the villain in this case, it was just a tool utilized to throw some challenge in the way of these two, and really just it's more about seeing them and how they interact together and the mentoring and the coaching that kind of goes on. And again, as a fan of Sam, just seeing so much growth, I felt like just in this little bit, in the short period of time. And I love that, we joke about the hat and everything, but they, that really was part of the theme throughout this whole thing. And it really stuck. So, for, again, the reasons I'm sure people would be bothered by the fact that we don't even get their names, that we get all this stuff jammed at the very end. Like, those things are not great and how it was kind of established and all that stuff, but I'm willing to let that go because of the relationships that are built through this. This is a long-winded way of me giving this a 9.0. So I'm staying up there with a 9 for this book because I enjoyed it that much, and just talking with you guys about it certainly helps. So listen, I know it's always sunshine and rainbows for me, guys.
I like how you're protecting your grade here.
Yeah, it's all about my experience, and I loved it. So I'm standing my ground with my 9.
No, stand it. You have yourself. How did you feel about Marvel Team Up issue 149? How would you grade this on a CGC scale?
I do think it's a good team up issue. I think you do kind of get those things that Justin talked about in a team up issue. It's like it's very condensed because it's almost like a one shot. So like the villain's not going to carry over. Even obviously this female character is not going to carry over. Like things like that. So it felt like a really good team up. So it's like the villain kind of is basically to highlight the relationship between Cannonball and Spider-Man. And that's really it. Which I thought was really cool. I loved seeing Spider-Man almost in like this mentorship role that you don't really get to see him in too often, at least at this point. And I really enjoyed it. I would probably put it in around like 8.6 or something like that. It's not the best team up issue, but it's a pretty good one. Honestly, I really did enjoy reading it. I as much as the hat thing is ridiculous, I did like it. I thought it was really funny and an interesting way to keep like this string going along. But at the end of the day, the reason why he's getting the hat is a really like heartwarming and kind of touching story and stuff like that, because he wants to get it for his mom, which I love. And so yeah, I liked it, and like I said, I liked the way it wrapped up and everything. I thought it did a pretty good job of putting a bow on it at the end. So yeah, 8.6 is what I put it at.
That's a good grade.
I love how Tony says he doesn't know her name, but he's got her number 867-5309. That makes her name Jenny. I'm just telling you, if that's her number, that's her name.
That's who it is.
And apparently Roberto got that off a wall somewhere, so he's all set on that. It's kind of like the Crimson Gem of Cyttorak. We'll see that canister of film again somehow later on.
Dun, dun, dun. Another seed planted.
Yeah. Candace says there's probably an OnlyFans, Tony. You can look for that.
Bobby says woman in Marvel Team Up 149.
Bobby's giving this a 9.8 with incandescent.
Yeah.
So he is all about it. Maybe superheroes don't get paid well. Yeah, super villains. That's where the money's at. John, stay in your lane. Get out of here. I have no lanes. I have no lanes. There are no lanes. I'm going to be harder on that. I'm going to say 7.5 is where I felt this book was for coming in. It's a perfectly fine Marvel Team Up issue, and it serves that function. The best parts are all the Cannonball, Spidey chats. I think I really enjoy all that stuff. The random villain and his strange sister with no name does irk me. The hat, I can't decide how I feel about the hat. And maybe later on I'll feel better about the hat and this will become an 8.0. But for me right now, the hat is so ridiculous. And I'm glad that we all sported hats for tonight because I think it's part of the hilarity of it. But it's almost too much for me. Like this first read, and this was my first time reading this book. First read, it feels like it's just too much. And so I struggled with the ridiculousness of the hat. but it's possible later on I'll come around and I'll be back to where everybody else is. Que onda to Borinquen Comics down in Puerto Rico? How you doing, my friend?
I haven't seen you in a long time.
I follow him on Instagram and I always catch up on what he is doing, and he's traveling a bunch, but I appreciate you making a little bit of time to hang with us tonight, my friend.
Been a while.
John was a 7.5, but with side boob. That's fair.
There you go.
Clemson says, hey, Justin, have you mentioned it earlier? Any reason that your dad didn't work on this one and he had done the ones before? Because your dad did a bunch of Marvel team up issues. And I know that this was a big part of his career.
Yeah, he pretty much did the last 9 or 10 issues of Marvel Team Up, except this book, which I was telling Stevie before. Like, I was bummed because I just thought we were gonna have an opportunity to like show my dad's work on the Omni X-Men show, from this omnibus. But it turns out, this one individual book out of that group, he was not part of. I actually don't know why, Matt, but I'll have to ask him if there was just another project, or where Blevins had come in. I don't know much about Blevins either. Maybe they were testing out the waters with different artists around this time, or he might have been on just a different project overall. But I was gonna say too with Blevins' art in this was pretty solid overall. I mean, there's definitely some really great stuff. Again, like the no named girl, but really the detail in her face. And
the cityscapes are all really stunning.
And the lighting is good. Yeah, like there's a lot of really good stuff about it. Granted, he's working with this big lightning monster, so that's you can kind of make that whatever you want. But I think overall, like the way Spider-Man was drawn and his poses in the air and stuff like that were all really well done. So I feel like I want to give a little love to Blevins too, because I don't this was really solid, I think, for artwork for this time right now. So
it was weird. I was telling Justin that after I read this issue, I went right to reading 150. Because I was like, oh, it's the last issue. And I realized his dad drew 150. And I was like, wait a second, did he draw 141? I went back and looked and it wasn't. But then I looked back, he drew like every other one up until that one.
Yeah. Like, the one issue we cover on the show.
Right?
Yeah. We made sure that we don't have any like improprieties going on. There's
no ties at all.
No fair judgment. We're not going to in any way incriminate ourselves.
We don't want the show to be biased. Like, no.
Candace says she likes that the guy in the GIF there is at the Harry Potter theme park, which I didn't even notice. Nice. I just loved his hat a ton. So I had to include him.
I was about to say, leave it to John to find that, but never mind. He said you didn't even notice it.
Apparently, I didn't even notice. No. The woman ran back to pick up all the pieces from her helicopter. That totally makes sense. Now
walking back to the Catskills.
Priority.
Yeah. Well, let's look at some of the numbers for. I didn't give my. No, I did my score. Yeah, we're good. We have first appearance of the Incandescent Man and his unnamed twin. The second team up of Cannonball and Spider-Man, and that's about it. 9.8 goes for $100, which I was kind of like, damn, that's a lot of money. But there's only 14 of them, so maybe it's just the rarity of some of that end of the run. If you're collecting this whole run in a 9.8, maybe there's a premium on some of the final issues where the print run was a little lower, and the number of them in a high grade might be less. So maybe that's some of the premium being paid on that 9.8.
Yeah. Second to last
any
issue.
Thoughts here? Yeah, right. Second to last
issue. I also, I mean, I don't know about other people, but I do look for covers that feature New York City, Twin Towers, things like that. So like that's kind of unique to it. But 100 does sound a little high. I'm kind of surprised to see that.
It is.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, it must be because of how little there are. 14.
Yeah. JP says, Justin's dad 40 years ago made a decision. He's like, I'm not going to draw this because my son might someday review this on a YouTube show. So I will not. I will not draw this. Let me skip this one.
And said no to Cannonball.
His time machine works.
Nailed it.
Justin, any thoughts here on the CGC side of this, of the key elements of this book?
I would not want this in a CGC case. I would want this raw. So I mean that's again, and I expressed this earlier, but the cover definitely doesn't do it for me. It's more of everything else. And the interior, so I'd want to make sure to open it up. But yeah, interesting to see the numbers here. Definitely a massive drop off just to go to like a 9.2 or something like that. But But yeah, I mean, I don't know. These are old too. There might not have been a purchase in a while too. That might be another reason for that.
Yeah, there's a handful of team up issues that I would have graded. Not many.
No.
The black suit #1, like there's not a ton of them.
Yep.
So like
I
you
feel
might
the same.
putting together a run, it would be Raw. So I like I said, I'm surprised it's that high.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's got to be the low print run and the rarity of the 9/8.
Yeah.
It's got to be the premium for that. But that means if you find a really great raw copy in the wild, it's time to start sending some of those in. You might hit
a
the
nice
jackpot on
newsstand
something.
right here. I'm thinking about.
It's all about the twins. It's all about the twins. You know?
There it is. Key first appearance of the incandescent man and his unnamed
first
sister,
and last
Jenny.
appearance. Does he reappear?
I have no knowledge of a future incandescent man.
I'm sure they're going to
put
shine
me down this rabbit hole now.
They're going to show up in like a Hickman,
right
story. He's going to bring somebody back alive. Hickman does that.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop sharing all that information and jump back to the full screen because we are reaching the trivia portion of the evening. So don't anybody run off. Huge thank you to all of you hanging out in the chat with us tonight. And for Stevie riding the rap and discussing Marvel Team Up 149 with us tonight. But now is the opportunity for those of you in the chat to get on the big prize wheel for the end of this season. What we do is we ask 4 trivia questions about last time when we were over on Justin's channel. We're going to see the 2 first correct answers will get on the wheel, and Stevie will pick the most entertaining wrong answer. We're looking for wrong answers. We love wrong answers on this show. So find a way to crack Stevie up, get on the wheel so that you can then win a prize. Sometimes it's that one entry that makes all the difference. We've given away 9/8 slabs to people who had just one entry on the wheel in the past. So you have that opportunity for sure. So Justin, you want to kick us off with your first question?
Sure. So remember, this is for last episode when we did New Mutants Annual #1. My first
great
question
episode,
is,
by the way, a great episode.
yes, good times. My question is, how did the team cut the line to go see Lila Cheney? Last issue, they were going to a concert, and there was a super long line to get into the concert, and there was a way that they were able to cut the line and not have to wait and just get right in and really get close.
Tony says wrong answers. I'm in. Borinkin says I'm ready to be wrong. So that's the kind of people we want in our chat. Wrong all day long. We got several very entertaining comments, but I'm going to go straight to JP saying that Roberto and Sam showed some side boob, and that was all you needed to get past the guy at the gate. That's all you needed. Or Candace says the tight spandex in their uniform. Similar concept here, showing a little something.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby just tells them who he is. Hey, I'm Bobby. Don't you know me? Don't you know me? Yeah. They started shouting something about there were more than 2 genders and they just let them through. Maybe. Did you like? There were some answers at the beginning that might have been correct. Justin.
Yes.
Did you see 2 that you liked?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Magic Lasso. Roberto had pull and early access pass. And I'm going to go with Adam. It wasn't necessarily a pass per se, but it was Roberto. He had a tie. He said that the tour manager owed him a favor, and it definitely had to do with the connections that he has and his rich family and background. So Adam and Ryan.
All right. Got the points. Magic Lasso says they brought nice hats from the big city. There it is. Fancy hats get you in every time. Magic summoned a demon and everybody ran away.
Sounds about right.
All right. Bouncer had a leather outfit fetish. There was a lot of that in the annual. That's fair. That is accurate. Stevie, any of those a winner for you?
I like the idea of Sam and Rob showing side boob.
There it is.
Check
JP budget
out.
Collecting.
Are you sure we can't come through?
How about now?
Yeah. How about now?
Right. I respect it. You gotta respect the hustle, right? All right. I'll drop the starting line on this next one. My question is, Sam displays some very interesting, exciting science knowledge in this episode. What is it that he knows a lot about? What do we learn that Sam has an incredible knowledge around? Right. So Sam it's more than a hat rack, as we learn. He can hold a hat, and we saw it in this episode. But what does he know so much about? What has Sam been studying on the sly? He's been studying sandwich making. He's been studying how to make sandwich.
Yep.
That's fair. That's a good thing to study. He's been studying hats. He's got a real knack for choosing a quality hat piece. That's for sure. These are good things for Sam to be studying. I mean, he's got questionable educators around him, so he's got to be his own best teacher. Really,
he learned about sales tax.
He did this week.
This week, yeah.
Still kind of stunned about that. I'm gonna go with Old Wolf with the Dyson sphere. This is a correct answer. He knows a lot about Dyson spheres, which I didn't know anything about, but he knows. Yeah, I was surprised. I'm going to go with the other correct answer is Magic Lasso. That is the correct answer. Some of the other answers are really good, just not fully complete. But he was also studying Diana Ross's wigs, which somebody needs to do that hard, important work for all of us.
That is true.
How to build a better vacuum. Always good. How to turn, but only 3 years in our time. It took him to learn how to turn, right?
Yeah.
This way, that way, how to turn. It's an important thing. He knows about fluoride in the water. He did learn this. I would say there's a little science in tonight's issue.
There it was, yeah.
How to wear a better outfit than Callisto. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows. That doesn't exist. That's not real. Don't make stuff up there, Ryan. All right, Stevie, what do you like? Is there a favorite?
Yeah, we'll go with how to wear an outfit better than Callisto. I like that.
There it is.
He definitely leather outfits was basically what he knew in that issue.
Yeah.
So.
This episode tonight was about hats. That one was definitely about dominatrix costumes for sure. Justin, what is your second question, my guy?
All right. So at one point in the issue, the rest of the team end up in space, and they were in a lot of trouble. But how did Warlock save the team when they did wind up in space? What did Warlock do for the rest of the team when they were being, I guess, transported to what they thought was going to wind up where Sam was with Lila? Instead, they kind of wound up, a little short, but still out there. But we learned a lot about Warlock for sure.
Yeah,
there's a couple
very interesting.
Couple answers that'll take for this.
Okay.
So keep an eye out. But Tony, Warlock ship is not one of the answers that I'm looking for.
Inaccurate. Wrong answer.
Yeah.
The Warlock ship. I don't think you're loving any of these answers.
No.
It wasn't Warlock. It was Toretto, and he went up to space because X-Men is family. That's a Fast and the Furious joke, and I freaking love it.
Nice.
Well played, Borinkin Comics. They flew around the Earth really fast and turned back time. He did the dance with no pants. Also important.
I do see
a
one
vacuum seal around them to protect them. Yes, Ziploc. He Ziplocked them. Damn spaceship. Oh, come on. Get over yourself.
All right, well,
you played a version of Pat Benatar's "We Are One."
There you go.
And he would crush it. I'm just saying. Do you have one correct answer you like?
Yeah, I'm gonna give. So Bobby was the first. He turned into a spaceship, and Tony, we'll give it to you since you.
All right.
Since you went on and
I'm going to give Bobby an extra point for being super right.
There you go.
And Warlock, I'm going to give like a half a point.
Oh, just because he said "damn spaceship." Gotta go to him.
Damn spaceship. Let's see here. He did a dramatic face reveal. Was it the Enterprise from Star Trek? Maybe. I mean, I get the feeling that Chris Claremont is a Star Trek fan. So,
oh yeah.
I'm saying it could be real. He brought the leather outfits for the trip.
Everybody gets leather.
with the alien pods. Yes, we know. Stop saying "damn it" every single time. I don't remember, but surely it had to do with the drum kit, right? Super screw you, John. I have your phone number and your address, buddy. Better watch it. He struck a chord with everyone that knows pterodactyls and can't stand it. I don't know what that means, Adam, but it's intense. Stevie, do you have any favorites in there anywhere?
We'll go with the Fast and the Furious one.
Yes, Borinkin.
Nice.
That is Borinkin Comics, my buddy. That's his first entry on the wheel.
Nice.
So, felicidades, my friend. Congratulations. You got on the wheel now, my friend. All right, my last question of the night. After being kidnapped, bitten, captured, questioned, and nearly killed by Lila Cheney, sure. How does Sam react to her at the end? What is his response to this woman who has bitten him, kidnapped him, traveled him across the universe, almost killed him, used him as a tool, manipulated him? What is his response? How does he respond to her at the end? It's his first thing in 3 years.
Oh,
Maybe
man.
This is a sign.
Yeah.
This is a sign, my friend. We're waiting for you.
Pulled me back in.
I literally wrote this down, JP. I said he makes out with her. I wrote those words. Makes out with her. You're that's how accurate you are. We share the same brain sometimes, JP and I. And this is one of those moments.
Yeah. All I can think of is that scene from Elf where he's like, "I'm in love. I'm in love." It's like, hey, she almost killed you.
I want everyone to know it.
Killed you.
Yeah.
I don't care who knows it.
Yes, exactly. And Tony, I'll give it to you. Yeah, he does kiss her. That's what making out means. So I'll give it to you. He's enamored with her. Yes, indeed. He is sweet on her. I agree. Obviously, says Aaron, he fell in love. Like, obviously, right? That's a great answer, Aaron. They go shopping at the BDSM store.
Oh man, that's probably gonna be it.
That's a good one. Shows her some side boob. I mean, that's how you get a lot of things. Buy her a hat. We know that's a good
there you go.
One. That's a
that
good
is
one.
a good one.
He decides a life of S&M is for him because S&M is very close to Sam. He signs up for a leather subscription box for a year.
These are all great answers.
Uses leather cleaner on her outfit. Important. Thank you for extending my vocabulary, John. You're a great teacher. I know you, Tony. I know you. All right, where are we going with this?
Let's go with Adam. I think he was the first one. They go shopping at the BDS.
He really crushed it right off the bat. Oh my goodness!
There's some great.
Congrats, Adam, my guy. All right, there you go. Look at all those people now on the wheel. Extra points added. The wheel is getting very full because we are nearing the 2/3 mark in our season. June will be here before we know it, so that is when we do our big giveaway party for both my birthday and Justin's birthday in June. So be there, be ready for it. So you should subscribe to Justin's channel. We'll be back over there on March 11th. That is the next portion of this series. Justin, I don't remember what issue we're reading. I think we're back to New Mutants.
22. Yeah, New Mutants 22 and 23. We're
Boom.
Back two
Main
issue sets.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we'll be with Dan's Comics over on Justin's channel.
Oh, sorry, just 22. Just 20.
Just issue 22.
Just issue 22. Yeah, with Dan. Yeah.
Yeah.
From Dan's.
So we'll be back on March 11th for that. Stevie, thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for having some laughs and talking Spider-Man with us tonight, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for having me. Give me 1 second. I know you guys are doing the wheel and stuff like that. I had a little bit of surprise. So I was hoping that maybe I could donate this to the wheel to give away.
Oh,
heck yeah.
A Sins of Sinister Domination #1. It's a really nice Nathan Zerdy.
Wow.
He's awesome.
So I want to give this away. So if you guys want to throw this on the wheel as one of your prizes for the end of the season.
Absolutely.
And I'll throw it up there. So we'll give this away whenever you guys do that. So
cool.
I bought a couple of these
man.
myself, so I grabbed an extra one because I thought it was perfect. I love magic.
It's a great cover.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cover. I threw it up on my Instagram a while ago, and I was like, I got to get an extra one for you guys. So
That's
we'll add that to the prizes and
awesome,
stuff.
Man. That is awesome, man.
John,
so, yes.
John, we're gonna have to do a prize wheel where it's just your name and my name on it.
Yeah, I mean that was for. I think he meant that was clearly understood. That was for you and I.
I was kind of hoping I could win it back, but that's I
don't think that's what I heard. I'll check the tape. And see
that one's not for the chat. I don't think
that's awesome.
No, really, guys.
Very cool.
Yeah, no, I wanted to bring some on to show you guys that much. I really appreciate you guys having me on. I love both your channels. Obviously, I've known Justin for a long time, but it really is an honor to be on here and talking to you guys. So I was just very thankful. So thank you guys.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate you showing Justin how to do a proper beard as well, because he kind of needs some advice on that. We're still waiting. Eventually, he's going to get there.
It'll get there. It'll get there.
Took me a solid 10 years for this bad boy. That's all I got.
Well, thanks, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us tonight. And we'll see you guys back again on March 11th.
Yes.
Peace.
Yeah.